welcome to the second episode of Coffee and AI with Sohini, where we talk about the latest and the greatest in the field of ChatGPT. So, in today's session, we are going to be talking about ChatGPT for education, a lot of ChatGPT products as they have come up, this whole idea around LLM or large language model ops, that is how to retrain, fine tune, or use large language models for your products, the issues with the size of ChatGPT. We will also take a look at this recent production, which is called AutoGPT, and understand, is it an AGI or not? And we will talk about, is ChatGPT responsible AI, and lots more. So if this is of interest to you, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. For anybody who's tuning in for the first time to this Coffee and AI with Sohini, I just wanted to mention that this is also available as a podcast in Spotify, so please find the link in the description box below. Now, let's get started. In our last episode, we learned about what ChatGPT truly was and how it has progressed over time. And if you haven't caught that episode yet, I'm going to link it here and also in the description box for you to go and check it out. Now, what ChatGPT is, it's a virtual companion that has been trained on billions and billions of public domain web pages, and it has the capability of making our code and our writing better and respond to highly complex questions in a very human-like fashion. Now, today we are going to be taking a look at how ChatGPT has been impacting the education sector, or how it has been modifying the lives of educators and students. So we're going to be talking about this latest blog that was released in the MIT Tech Review. And again, if you want the link to the document, it's in the description box below. Now, when ChatGPT was released, several leading universities in the UK, including the Imperial College London and the University of Cambridge, they issued a statement that warned the students against using ChatGPT to cheat. For instance, if the school was giving them essays to write, they were scared that the students would actually go and ask ChatGPT and bring ChatGPT written essays back to school as their homework assignments. However, in the last 3 months, now the educator's outlook is way more favorable towards ChatGPT. Advanced chatbots could be very powerful aids in classroom preparation and to make lessons more interactive, teach students in media literacy, generate personalized lesson plans, cheat sheets, and save teachers and admin tons of time and more. Now, edtech companies or educational technology companies such as Duolingo and Quizlet, which make practice assessments and is used by about half of the high school students in the United States, have already integrated OpenAI's chatbot into their applications. So talking about performance, let's take a look. ChatGPT has shown to pass the bar exam, and it scored about 1410 on the SAT. It aced the AP tests for biology, art history, environmental science, macroeconomics, psychology, and US history, and all language-heavy subjects. However, we do know that it did fail the IIT entrance examination, which is a highly quantitative examination in India, miserably. Overall, the change in perspective of educators towards ChatGPT ushers a new era of technology, which has driven education where the burden is not on remembering the facts anymore, but honing into why any event happened at all. Now, let's talk about the size of ChatGPT model for integration into products for a moment. Now, let's take a look at the typical method of utilizing machine learning models and integrating them into products. This method is called transfer learning, where a large model, which is already pre-trained on public datasets, is simply downloaded and fine-tuned to the application of the specific dataset that you require. So let's say that I wanted to build a cat detection module into my safety cameras. What would I do in this case? I would just simply download an object detection model such as YOLO V8 and feed in new data or images of cats and their bounding boxes only. And what I would get is a frame-by-frame cat detection system built into for my custom request. Now, this approach fails miserably on things like ChatGPT because large language models cannot be downloaded, let alone be fine-tuned. And that's the reason why there have been incremental changes in the generative pre-trained or the GPT models. So GPT-1 actually had 117 million parameters. GPT-2 had 1.2 billion parameters, and GPT-3 raised the number to further 175 billion parameters. And it's rumored that GPT-4 actually has 100 trillion parameters, although OpenAI has never confirmed this number. Now let's take a look at the hardware costs that it would take in order to train a Azure GPT-3. Since the GPT-3 has 175 billion parameters, it would require 355 years and about 4.6 million US dollars to train, even with the lowest priced GPU cloud on the market. So fine-tuning such a large language model would require very new mechanism. Now this has ushered a new era, which is called prompt engineering, where you tell the GPT model what to look for, and you provide additional data that may be missing in the web pages as of now, and indicate what you expect to be an acceptable response. Now let's say you want to find out what is the best public school and program for a college admission. You provide the criteria for your consideration, such as tuition cost of living, loans, scholarship, number of seats, etc. And then you ask the ChatGPT to tell you which would be the best college for you. You can also tell the ChatGPT to include facts such as numbers and such as average salary of graduating students per cohort in the response. And in this case, you have actually guided the ChatGPT to get to the fine-tuned response that is acceptable for your use case. Now, ChatGPT was launched by OpenAI and it continues to be the best performer in the market to detect errors in code and to modify and make corrections to software code. While other large language models by Google, which is called PaLM, P-A-L-M, which is launched in April 2023, claims to have 540 billion parameters and shows to perform better than ChatGPT in certain language translation tasks. This means that there is no monopoly in the field of LLMs, and its productization or LLMOps will be influenced by the availability of cloud platforms and the efficacy of prompt engineering to put effective guardrails around the generated responses. So if you are new into this field of ChatGPT, prompt engineering might be the easiest domain for you to understand and to have more hands-on experience with it. Now, ChatGPT and alike models have raised the question, are they responsible AI? The obvious answer is no, they're not. Because there are times, and significantly they're less so, where the responses, they go completely off the rails and are unacceptable to the users. And this is called hallucinations. For instance, in a college application, let's say a ChatGPT was given two options of public universities, one with 24,000 students and another with 26,000 students. The response it returned was the larger public university with 24,000 students was actually better. Now, this makes absolutely no sense to a human because we know that 26,000 is larger than 24,000. But in this case, sometimes ChatGPT can make these errors, which are called hallucinations, and they are unstable and unexplainable from time to time. The hope is with appropriate prompt engineering and with appropriate guardrails, these problems can be solved in the days to come. Now, this brings us to the next latest update, the AutoGPT that was released on March 30th, 2023 by the company Significant Gravitas Limited as an open source product. Now, AutoGPT is trained with instructions on top of ChatGPT-4 to execute extremely complex tasks rather than constant interactions as needed by ChatGPT-4. So let's take an example. Let's say that you want to write a new children's book. And for AutoGPT, you need to give it a set of resources to search for, like Google and Chrome. And then you give it, the outline of the story that you want. So let's say I said, I want a story about a little boy named Max and bananas. And you can specify the number of sentences that the story would have. Now, this becomes like a rough outline. You can also tell the AutoGPT to save the story in a file called story.txt and then generate 8 possible titles for the story and save that file as names.txt. And the AutoGPT will execute all of this, and the result will be 2 saved separate files, which is called story.txt and names.txt. Now, if for the same task you wanted to use ChatGPT, you would have had to enter commands for each and every task, like generate a story, save it, generate titles, save the titles, so on and so forth. Now, AutoGPT, on the other hand, eliminates the need to enter each instruction and operates at a task level. However, researchers have found that AutoGPT still continues to have bugs. Now, 2 major concerns that have been raised with AutoGPT is, first, it cannot remember the steps from one task to the other, something that humans can adapt to very easily. And second, it can get argumentative if you don't agree with the outcomes that it has actually performed. So AutoGPT is a step in the right direction, but far from being an actual product as of now. Also, it is not artificial general intelligence or AGI by any means. Any AGI would be capable of performing tasks at human level and more, which AutoGPT is not. I hope you find these updates in ChatGPT super useful and stay tuned for more in the next episode. Now let's get into the second segment of this session, which is your frequently asked questions. Now, the first question that I got this week was, can you share some updates on tools and softwares, which is recent in the domain of AI? Now, the first interesting update that I wanted to share with you is this software, which is called Dino V2, which has been released by Meta. And what it can do is it can do 2D depth camera estimation, it can do semantic segmentation and instance segmentation, all without any new annotated data. This would mean that the tool is already trained with millions of well-annotated data so far. So try it and report back if it does not perform the way it was intended to. The second question that I got was, can you comment on the new sources for enthusiasts to begin their data science journey? Now, this is a complex question which is a little harder to explain just because everybody might be in a different stage while they are getting into this area of data science and artificial intelligence. But in the theme of this chat GPT and everything around multi-source data sets, I wanted to share this data set which is called Ego 4D. And what Ego 4D has, it is that it is the largest multimodal data source which can combine text, video, and image algorithms altogether. So I highly motivate you to check it out. Now, the third and the final question in today's session is how to transition from a data science or a machine learning researcher to an end-to-end full stack AI product developer. Because let's face it, in today's market, that's where the money is, that's where most of the jobs is to create more products with this AI and ML technologies. Now, for this, what I found was that the cloud provider specializations are extremely specific and useful, and they're always updated and relevant to ensure that you learn end-to-end machine learning system design. So, what I mean by that is, let's say that you are interested in implementing AI and ML with AWS, because that's the direction in which you have seen that most of the clients are interested in developing with. So AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud certifications specifically for MLOps, full stack engineering will be super crucial. And those will be the certifications which ensure that you're in the right path and you have the right jobs corresponding to them. You will need to learn, apart from the backend Python development, front-end web app development, some things like PHP, Java, Flask, Fast API, and Kubernetes deployment and monitoring solutions to be well equipped in order to do end-to-end product design. I hope you found these responses useful, and I look forward to talking to you in my next episode. Stay tuned.